Hello, this is Mary, the Psychic Animus, and we are on our Tarot Thursday series. And this week we have the Devil card, which is number 15 of the Major Arcana. And this is a very interesting card. And if you go with the cycle of the Major Arcana, it's interesting that we go from Temperance, which is really that middle ground, that not ruffling feathers, and then you go into the Devil card, which is definitely going with all of your desires, right? And the interesting thing about this card too is that it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. We all have our desires, and there are times that we should just give in and allow ourselves to be a sloth, to sit and binge watch Netflix, to have that awesome sex, to, do the things, to drink, have fun, party. But it's in moderation, of course. You have to know how to control that. And that's where we can have issues. So here is just a normal Rider-Waite version of the Devil card. And you'll notice it's either Baphomet or Pan, or, has a figure with horns, or that, signifies the devil, basically, depending on which type of deck you have. And, like here, this one is a very good representation, because if you'll notice, there is the devil, which is Baphomet, even has bat wings, which is interesting. So you add on, the half goat, half man, the horns. Usually there is the inverted pentagram, and there is a woman and a man naked, chained. But if you notice, in most of these cards, what are they chained to other than themselves? They're really not chained. They're not in, solitary confinement. They're not in jail. They can leave whenever they want. And that is really a lot of what this is about. This card is about your self-indulgences. It is about addictions. It's about, self-sabotage. All of these, what do you call them? The self-limiting beliefs that we have. It is that voice in your head saying, oh, you can have just one more. Don't worry about it. Enjoy yourself. Have fun. So a lot of times this is going to come out as, watch your addictions, watch what you're doing. Don't allow yourself to fall into that category of allowing this to go too far, But there are times too, and this is what's tricky about this card, is positive, and it can also depend on what deck you're using. Like the Marilyn Tarot, which we've seen a lot of differences with this one. So here is the card from the Marilyn Tarot, and I'm just going to read you what it says, because it's very fascinating to read. So it says, the devil is lies, illusions, bondage, addiction, opposition, and personal demons. Also, it is humor in the face of opposition, an opportunity to do what is right, facing and defeating one's demons. See, that right there, that part is interesting, because you can use, let me go on. To the Grand Tarotist Atelia, the devil represents great force propelling you towards a fate which could be for either good or ill. There's times when we need a little bit of spunk, when we're stuck in a depressed state, or we don't feel like we have that, the passion behind us to be able to do something we want to do. This energy can actually be used for good, to propel you to take that step that you were unsure of, that you didn't have the confidence to do. So this card also, for the positive side, it kind of reminds me of how people will have, a glass of wine before they do public speaking, because it gives them a little bit more confidence. It lowers their inhibitions slightly. That's that, being able to take it just a little bit, just without being drunk. You don't want to be drunk and do public speaking, right? So that's the excess. So this is a lot of addictions, a lot of, I really see it a lot as self-sabotaging, because, you've got your voices saying you're not good enough. This is stuff that could be coming from, all the way from childhood or even past lives, ancestral stuff that is just telling you, you're not good enough. That is self-limiting. That is your mind. Your mind is the one being the devil and holding you hostage. You can break free anytime you want. Here is from the Ghost Tarot. And this again is just, it's same type of thing. And this can, with the Ghost Tarot is interesting because it's kind of like shadow work. It'll bring parts up to say, hey, you might want to look at this. The Devil card can come and help you to look in the shadows too. So depending on what deck you have, the reverse can mean vastly different things. So that part is interesting. I always say go with your intuition unless you know exactly. If you know your decks are different or this specific deck has this, then of course go with that. But it really depends. Here is Pan, and this is from the She Tarot. And again, look at, the having fun, enjoying a lot of, sexual intimacy, a lot of letting loose, just having fun. Now this, from the Forest of Enchantment Tarot, this is the Liar card. And with this deck, this is just, it's always negative, it's the sabotaging and lies. And, and it can sometimes, like with this one especially, it can indicate that somebody is pulling you in. They're actually the ones, and it's not their fault. They're just there to kind of twist your arm kind of thing. It's you doing it. You are allowing yourself to go down this path that isn't healthy for you. And here's another one. Yeah, the bad boys that so many women love, especially teenagers and young 20s and stuff. You love going for the bad boys. Why is that? That is something that should be looked at within yourself. There is a point of, there's nothing wrong with having fun, right? There's nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with that at all, as long as you don't take it too far. And that is a lot of times self-sabotaging. That's things that you're not feeling confident enough to stand in your own power, so to speak. There are things that are pulling you. You feel trapped. You feel trapped, you're lacking fulfillment, and so that's why you're trying to fill yourself, with whether it's sex or drugs or alcohol or overindulgences, working out too much, overeating. Oh my gosh, I had the day, and I'm telling you, it's okay to do this past weekend. And it's interesting because I believe I did pull the Devil card or something similar, and might have been an oracle that had the same type of message, but it was, and this was after I had my little instance of allowing myself to just gorge. It was horrible on chocolate. And I don't do that very often. And, I felt like crap after. That right there was a warning, like, watch out. You can have your fun. Just don't gorge on stuff. Don't overindulge, because you're going to have repercussions because of it, right? So let me keep going and showing you some of these cards. Here is from, not the Fortress Daughter, I can't remember. Here is this card, and you see the jackrabbit, with the snakes there, heart there. So same type of thing. Let me see. Oh, this one is interesting. This is from the Hush Tarot. As you notice, they have the cute kittens. And the thing about cats, they're either angels or demons kind of thing. They've got their good and bad sides. They can be amazing, and then all of a sudden scratch you or hiss at you and attack you kind of thing. So they're going off of that for this card. This is from Arthur Rackham Tarot. Love his artwork. And again, this is the, let's see if I can get that to focus. There we go. So, you see the devil type, man who is taking and forcing the woman to dance. And you notice the look on her face. She's not enjoying it. That's where there's a point when you're not enjoying things and it's causing more issues than good, then you went beyond. You're beyond that tipping point. So let's talk a little bit about what happens when you pull this. Obviously, when you pull it just for spiritual wise, a lot of times it means you need to do some shadow work. There is some stuff that is ready for you to look at. Spiritual work is amazing. And this is one of those cards that says, okay, it's time. You got stuff to deal with. And that's when I always say journal about it. Figure out what is it? What are your habits, your bad habits, your addictions? Why? And get to the root cause of it. So if you pull this for love, well, it can mean that you're obsessive, or maybe your partner is. Depends on how you're asking the questions, of course. You're controlling. You're controlling the relationship. You're controlling the other person. It could be lust, hedonism. It could be taking, your sexual desires too far. You could be hurting somebody, hurting the partner. You're not taking their feelings into consideration. For career, it's self-sabotage mostly. You're blaming your coworkers for your downfalls. Things just aren't working right, but it's you that you need to really look at what you're doing. Stop blaming others and look within yourself. What do you need to stop doing? What do you need to change, alter, and what should you be doing, kind of thing. Finances, you're making some pretty shitty decisions, is what that is saying. When you pull this reversed, again, you need to look at the deck. You need to follow your intuition, because reversed can mean many different things, as can upright. Upright can really mean, ooh, did you see that? That was like a little orb that just flew by. And, it can really change the description. But intuition is always best. That I will say, whatever you feel when you pull the card right away, aside from, some people are just like, oh, I hate this card. I don't want the devil. So reversed. Reverse can mean you're actually getting out of the chains. You are evolving. You're doing amazing. You are standing in your own power. That can mean that, or it could mean the opposite, that it just is not going well at all for you, and you need to look at yourself. And very similar. So again, it depends on what deck you're using. It could, what is beautiful, could mean that you are releasing these dang limiting beliefs that are causing you not to feel your power within yourself. It could mean that it is a time to start to enter into your dark thoughts. That could be it too. That, just like I say it, I think for spiritual readings, even when you pull it reversed or upright, same thing. You need to do some shadow work. You need to go deep, dig deep within yourself to figure out why you're acting the way you are. What are your addictions? What are your issues? What are your self-limiting beliefs? It could be detachment, that you're completely detached from reality. And it's time for you to really dig deep and do some work, right? Where was I? It could mean independence. See, and this is where you get the cards that it depends. So it could mean independence, being released from the chains, all of that kind of stuff. For finances, it could mean that you're actually coming to terms and you're changing, breaking the cycle of bad spending, of bad savings, of all of that, bad investments. You're breaking that. You're learning how to get out of that time. And it could just mean too that you're reclaiming your power, that you finally know what you're doing, right? Again, when you pull the Devil card, and this is one of those cards that, it's like a love-hate relationship with me, more so that hate, because I don't like it. I've had it in times where it comes up, probably 3 times in the last, 3 months maybe, that I have pulled it in the what I should focus on. So I completely understand, when you pull the Devil for what you need to avoid. Well, that makes sense. Don't overindulge today. Watch my thoughts, watch my self-limiting, thoughts and different things like that. But how about when you pull it in, what you should focus on? Well, that's where you look at the positive side of the Devil card. That it's time for you to let loose. You have been too strict on yourself, doing, too much. It is time to just relax, let loose, let things go, let your hair down, have a drink, have fun, schedule a date with your partner, or, go to a club or do something. Just let loose, go out in nature and sing and dance and, do a journey and meet some cool spiritual person that maybe you can have fun with. There's all kinds of things that you can do. So the Devil card, again, one of those interesting cards that is, it can be definitely misjudged, and it's not all bad. So another thing to remember, not all bad. So that is it. And interesting, next week we go in from this to the Tower. So it is, I love watching this cycle, right? How everything cycles through the major arcana. And how we went from, middle path and the balance to now we're into the devil and the overindulgence type of thing, right? And then what can happen if you fall in that trap of that overindulgence and those limiting beliefs and addictions and all that? Well, all hell can break loose and you can hit rock bottom. So again, the cycle. So it will be interesting and very fun to go over next week. I hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you later. Sending you much love.